I've got a frickin' problem, and it's too many games coming in, not enough games going out. We've talked about this on the channel a lot in terms of curating our collection, making sure things are good, but even I fault at times and have a lack of things moving out. And usually it's because I'm not playing the games at a quick enough pace to get a feel for it or to know if it's for me. And so they just sit there and they sit there for a long time. So I figured it would be a good time to make a video, give myself some accountability, hopefully, and maybe it'll be a fun series as we kind of go through these and keep track of games that either I need to play or they need to go and figure out what we're going to do. So, my name is Brian, you're watching Game Brigade, let's get it. Okay, so we have a bunch of games here. Some of these are still in factory seal, which is nuts. Doesn't mean I haven't played some of them, but let's go to a banger. Let's go straight to the first one. Let's pull this guy down. Nemesis Lockdown, still in shrink. I've played Nemesis Lockdown. It's one of the reasons why I still have this in shrink, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep Nemesis Lockdown in my collection. So I backed this on Kickstarter. I did a Should You Back covering Lockdown. I have Nemesis still down here. Yet Nemesis has been kind of a roller coaster experience for me, and I've talked about this before. But basically, Nemesis is a system which is an incredibly thematic, cool experience, really living up the alien feel from the movie, where you are trying to survive on a ship or on a space station or an outpost as you try to survive some sort of alien invasion or attack. I love the thematic feel. In fact, that's why I still have Nemesis in my collection. But Nemesis, at times, because of the randomness that this game is built upon, this game creates very exciting, fun, thematic moments, but it is built upon a shell of a randomness system, and one that is made to punish the players and be extra difficult. And I've had times where the game can be an incredibly dopamine high and it's so fun, or it could be a real drag and slow down. And when I had those negative experiences with Nemesis, then Lockdown showed up. We played one of my friends in the player groups, his copy, and I was like, okay, I do think Lockdown is a better system, but I don't necessarily think it's enough that I need to own it and Nemesis. I also have problems with Lockdown as I like the setting of the original Nemesis, but I like the gameplay mechanics of Lockdown. The Nemesis characters are compatible with Lockdown, but the Lockdown characters are not compatible with Nemesis. So I was in this situation where it's like, well, I like Nemesis' ship, but I think Lockdown does it better. Do I get rid of Nemesis and keep Lockdown, but then I lose some of the characters that I like in Nemesis? I was in this weird conundrum. And so my best solution to that was to take Lockdown and just throw it on the shelf and just keep it there. So I'm now at a situation where it's got to come up. Do we get rid of Nemesis? Do I keep Nemesis? Lockdown? Do I get rid of Nemesis? That'll probably be in another episode, maybe next month, where we talk about this system. I don't know. And now we've got Nemesis Retaliation, the third one coming out, which is supposed to be more combat focused, more like Aliens, the movie, as at least I've been told. And that sounds interesting to me. So maybe I just get rid of both of these and I just go for Nemesis Retaliation. Who knows? But that's the first one that I wanted to bring out. It's obviously a banger. A lot of people like this system. A lot of people are going to comment, Brian, you have no clue what you're talking about. But, you know, what can I say? It's me. So there we go. That's that one. This next one is also a banger. And I talked about this game on Quackalop's channel, where I mentioned it was one of the worst games in his collection. Now, that video was tongue-in-cheek. It was obviously meant to be a joke. Not many people understood that, unfortunately. But Spirit Island is a game that I've played only a few times. Long ago, way before I even had a board game channel. And it didn't hit with me or my group, so I've shelved it, and it's sat on my shelf for many years now. It's been sitting there probably unplayed since 2019 when I bought Branch and Claw. I purchased Branch and Claw and because I like having more stuff, like more options, more characters, but we never even played that expansion. So Spirit Island has been sitting there waiting for something to happen. Recently, I actually just was able to acquire Spirit Island with several of the expansions as well as some promos for a relatively decent price. I was like, I just can't pass that up. So I bought it and I'm like, okay, now I've got 2 copies of Spirit Island. I need to frickin' play this game and see if it's really for me so I know what to do with my games. Obviously, I'm going to sell one of them, but I still have another one on my shelf. And I need to figure out, is this game for me or what? The reality is I'm not a big solo gamer. I will solo game at times, but when it comes to and if I solo game, it's going to be for work, for the show, for the channel. But if I'm just going to play games to relax, it's pretty rare that I do that if I'm in my own home. If I go on a vacation and I bring some games, that's a little different. But that's one of the reasons I've been told to keep Spirit Island is that solo game is just so freaking good and you must experience it. So some way or another, I need to figure out a way to play Spirit Island. If that means having someone who knows the game to sit down and teach me, that might be it. But I'm looking forward to hearing more and seeing what it has to offer. Okay, here's another giant in shrink wrap game. Still has the price tag looming at me. I don't know if you can read that. It's upside down. Look at this price tag. I don't know if you can see this. You probably can't see it. $157 freaking dollars. I make myself sick whenever I see this freaking game on my shelf, still in wrap with that stupid price tag on there. But the reality is I bought this because of a sale that the store was running at the time. So obviously I didn't pay $157 because of the sale that was occurring. But I still paid way more than the discount offered me because I'll see this game like for $80, $90 new on Amazon or other online sites. And it's just like, man, what were you thinking? And you haven't even played the game. Now, Descent is a title that I have, not this one, but Descent First Edition. I have everything for that still upstairs. Second Edition, I sold it, but I had quite a few expansions for Second Edition. And Descent was like such a really good system at the time when I played it, like early 2008. Maybe not 2008, maybe 2010. I feel like that was the timeline. 2010 was around the timeline I played Descent. And I really, really thought it was a good, cool system that was great for that kind of RPG feel on a board game table space. Now, that system has aged quite a bit. I have Imperial Assault, that should probably be on this list too, sitting over there, unplayed, very similar system, but it has at least the app to make it work. Now, Descent Legends of the Dark also does include the app. I've just started cracking into my Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth, experiencing what their app is, and it's not bad. It's not the greatest. I still think I prefer a DM, but the problem is I'm always the DM when it comes to these games, and I never get to play the heroes. That was one of the reasons why I stopped playing Imperial Assault. Well, I was always the Empire, and I never got to actually play a hero character and get the experience of leveling up and getting all the cool weapons and attachments and whatnot. So that's one of the reasons why Descent Journeys of the Dark has been remaining in its seal, sitting in the dungeon, deciding what the hell am I going to do with it. It's also probably one of the lowest tiered games in my eyes of priority of a campaign that I want to play. I am currently playing Journeys in the Dark, whatever. Oh, no. Yeah, Journeys in Middle-earth with my wife. We are playing Oathsworn. After that, we've got Isofarian Guard. We've got Tenaris Adventures to go on. So we have Chronicles of Drenagor Part 2 is going to be shipping soon. We're halfway through with that campaign. We paused it because we wanted to move on to Oathsworn. Plus the second stuff was going to be shipping. But when you have all our campaign games, Descent's tier 0. It's way at the bottom. It's not something that I'm super excited for. And now they just got an expansion that came out. And so my stupid ass is like, maybe I should get that expansion. No. We're not getting the expansion. We're holding off, Brian. So let's put this bad boy over here, and we'll create a wall of games. Let's go over here. there's two games here from the same company. It's the first time I've actually considered getting rid of one of their games. And the first one is Hamus Remastered. This is actually a game that doesn't really qualify in terms of the shelf of shame aspect, but it goes in line with the next game. Let's pull it first. Let's pull both of them out. It's so freaking heavy. I should have just done the box, like most smart content creators do, but instead I have the whole game here. So Victorum, Hamus Victorum, I also did a Should You Back, and at the time I got this game, I had aspirations of doing more solo content on the channel. But in the time I backed this and the time I received it, I posted a few solo gameplay videos and they just didn't take off. I don't know if my audience wasn't interested in them from my perspective of me playing solo games, or maybe the games that I picked just weren't for my audience. I'm not sure. So my drive of doing that has kind of waned. And now we've got Victorum here, and I still want to do that, to do some sort of content with this, but I haven't had the desire to do that on film yet. And it's sitting here taking up a massive amount of space. The box is huge. I don't know if you can see that. It's heavy and huge. Luckily, it's thin and taking up space. I purchased Hamus Remastered when I got this one because this has a cooperative and competitive aspect to it. And we have played Remastered, and it's okay. I would give this like a 6.5 on a fly by my seat of my pants rating right now without truly thinking about it. 6.5 out of 10 on my rating scale, which means it's like an okay game. It's a good game. It's not a great game. It's an okay game. And effectively, I just wanted to get rid of this. And when I pulled this off the shelf to get rid of this, I thought, you know what? What about this one? What about Victorum? I've heard problems of Victorum. I've heard it's laggy or it has kind of grindy features to it, and that's kind of holding me off. Recently, Chip Theory Games actually just had another Kickstarter for Victorum, and I had it backed because I was like, oh, maybe that will be the fix for me. It's $100. Maybe that'll fix these titles and I can enjoy them more. And I canceled that pledge with about 4 hours left in the campaign because I had to be honest with myself and say, Brian, this has been sitting here for maybe 9 months, and you haven't touched it. And this one you've played maybe 4 times, 5 times, and it just hasn't hit with your group where you bring it up and ask people, do you want to play it? And no, everyone says no, they'd rather play something else. So these two probably are going to find their way out of the collection. I need to figure out if Victorum is for me. I need to figure out and play it. And if I don't play it in any type of reasonable fashion, it's got to go. Okay, so we're coming up to the final 3. Now this one is actually, I think it was purchased at the same time I bought Descent. Different transaction, same purchase. I have also made a 3D print insert for this. So I have like aspirations of playing this. This is Cosmic Encounter, the 42nd edition. And I have heard so many good things about this game, the negotiation aspect of it and the gameplay, but I've never played it. I don't know if it's a lack of wanting to learn the rules or the excitement from the group or the fact that we have other games that we need to play for content creation's sake, but I haven't had a chance to actually play this one. And at some point I have to ask myself, how long can I let this sit on my shelf taking up space when there's other games that I need to play and I have boxes coming in that we need to make room for? Because when you get to the point, you can't see here, obviously it's behind you, but when you get to the point of games becoming stacked on the floor, that's a problem. And I've been there. Now my walking space is being hindered because you have games starting to stack up because you're running out of shelf space. And that was like, okay, we need to do this video. We need to start this series. We need to start calling and figuring out what we're going to do. So that's why Cosmic Encounter is here. I would love to play this. I would love my player group to say, hey, Brian, can we play Cosmic Encounter? Because I'm honestly scared to recommend it. I don't know what it is, but every time I think about it, I feel like they're just going to say no, and it's going to make me feel bad, so I don't even ask. So there you go. That's Cosmic Encounter, 42nd Anniversary Edition. This next one might be shocking to some of you guys. I've got a lot of expansions for this. I do not have the Marauders expansion that's brand new, but here we have Root, a game of Wonderland Might and Right. Root is, I purchased like this stuff in like 2018, 2019 era, and loved the art. I watched the review from Shut Up and Sit Down, who was actually very critical of this game and saying that it wasn't for him, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm still on getting it. The reality is, I think Root is a really, really cool game. It's fun, but it's hard to get to the table. I feel like the asymmetricalness, which I really love, and it's hard because I haven't played it with my new group. My old group, which was like board gamers, but they were kind of in that like Gateway Plus timeline, they had a hard time making sure to learn the rules of their faction, plus understanding what other people were doing in the game. And when people would do things like the Woodland Alliance, people were like, are you cheating? Is that really what you do? Because that seems really powerful and whatnot. So this game has been sitting shelved for years. And I remember I got the Mole People expansion, and I just put them up there with all the other ones. And it's just been sitting, unplayed, gathering dust. And at some point you have to be like, okay, are we going to break Root out? Is this going to get played? Or am I just going to have to just keep it on the shelf for eternity? The reality is, if you're not going to play it, you need to move it on, because there will be someone else in this world who will enjoy your game. So Root, I need to figure it out. Is this game going to be one that my group would want to play in terms of a competitive... My group loves competitive games, so I feel like it would be right up their alley. We just have to break it down and learn how to play. But yeah, a game of woodland fighting. It's a pretty sweet game. So look at all these games. I have a whole crazy stack over here. The final game I purchased only because of the discussions that I see online. I've never played Gaia Project. I've also not played Terra Mystica, I believe it is, which is like the other the Terra Mystica game. Good job, Brian. You figured it out. I've never played either of those games, but I've heard great things about both of them. And my friend was going to sell this at a board game swap, and I was like, man, that's a really good game. It's basically unpunched. I think it is unpunched. I don't think he ever punched his copy. Yeah. So it's still in punch down here. Yeah, still in factory seals and everything. So he never played it, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna sell it the board game swap. I'm like, well, that's a new copy of Gaia Project. I guess I'll just buy it off of you. And so it was a good deal, but it's been sitting on the shelf for years now, not doing anything. And so I think it's time that I either have to play this game. I'm not a Euro gamer when it comes down to like my favorite titles, but I do like space. It's science fiction and space is one of my favorite settings. So that's one of the reasons I lean towards. It's also some reason why I like Cosmic Encounter or Twilight Imperium and whatnot. So yeah, this one, I got to do something with Gaia Project. Otherwise, it's got to go. So these are the games that I'm kind of like putting my foot down and saying, either you got to play them, Brian, or you got to get rid of them. One of the two's got to happen. I don't know what will happen first. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and maybe hear some of the games that you guys might need to get rid of. What are games in your collection that you're currently looking at and saying, okay, am I going to play you, or is it time to go? I'd love to hear your thoughts. My name is Brian. You're watching Game Brigade. I really appreciate you guys staying and watching the show. If you want to support us, leave a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you're new. We'd love to have you join the community. You can also go down below. We have our Discord and all the links and descriptions down below for your convenience. I'd love to see you guys in our Discord chatting and talking. I would love to talk to you. Have a good day. Remember, be good people.